Okay, so these are some notes on solving the triangle. Just in case I'm not here, you can still get them done. And so we have two examples here, one on the left, one on the right. And you can see they're a little bit different from each other. The one on the left, you have two sides and no angles, except for the right angle, which is your 90-degree angle. And on the right-hand side, we have one angle, well, two really. You know B over here, and you know C. Okay, so when this says to solve the triangle up at the top in the notes or in the title, when it says solve the triangle, that means that your job is to find every single part. Okay? You're going to find all three sides and angles. Okay, so there's a couple things that I need you to remember. So if you would scroll down kind of to the middle of your page, I already drew a line across the middle, but here's another one. Remember that capital letters, in this case, A, B, and C, are angles. And lowercase letters, A, B, and C, are sides. And don't forget that the sides are across from the angle. So for example, if this was angle A, side A is across from it, right? This is all stuff that you know, but just in case you've forgotten over Christmas break, you're going to review. So when you do these, I want you to make a list. Angles A, B, and C, and sides A, B, and C. And then you can label what you know. C should always be 90 degrees. Put degree symbols on the angles so that you know. Okay? And you're going to be given some of those, and then you should have three, and then you have to find the other ones. Okay? And I gave you some information up in the directions as well. So let's take a look here. So for the first one, use Pythagorean theorem first because we have two sides and we have to find the other one. And then use the inverse trig function. All right, so let's start with this guy. So I'm going to list out my A, my B, and my C. Those are angles, and the only one right now that I know is the 90. And then I have my little a, my little b, and my little c. And I know little a is across from angle A, right? That's little a. And little b is across from big B. So I know those two. I need to find C. So A is 4.5 and B is 5. And remember, Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we used the plus if we didn't know the c squared. Remember, if you do know c, so if you know c, but not a or b, then use c squared minus whichever one you know equals whichever one you don't. So c squared minus a squared or b squared equals a squared. And this one would be known. And this one would be not known. Okay. And that's something we did before, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. So if I plug these in, I have 4.5 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. I'll throw these in my calculator real fast. 4.5 squared is 20.25 plus 25. I get 45.25 equals c squared. And then remember, I need to undo the c, so I have to take the root. So I'm going to take the root of that and take the root of that. And so I have this second root of the answer is 6 point, and what does this say? Oh, round to the nearest tenth. So this is important. That's one decimal place. So this is 6.726. And so C is going to be 6.7. Right? All right. And then now we know two of the sides. So you just kind of pick an angle. And this is what we did in class the last couple days. So if we want to do angle A, let's do this one first. Okay, I want to do angle A. Well, compared to angle A, 4.5 is the opposite, and 5 is the adjacent. So that would be the tangent function. So I would do the tangent of A is opposite over adjacent. So that would be 4.5 over 5. And then you know that I would use the inverse tangent. So I go inverse tangent of 4.5 divided by 5. And I'm going to go over to Desmos to do that real quick. So go to function, inverse tan of 4.5, back to main, 4.5 divided by 5. That keeps popping up because I don't have a keyboard attached. So this is 41.98. And because I would have to round up here, this is actually going to be 42 degrees. So 41.98 or 42 degrees. So I'm going back here. And so this was A. A is going to be 42 degrees. And then if I know all of these, remember that there's 180 degrees in a triangle. So now I can go 180 minus 90 minus 42. And that's going to equal B, right? So I can go 180 minus 90 minus 42. And that equals not that. I got a negative number because I put in 108 instead of 180. Equals 48. And so this is 48 degrees. Okay? So we had to do Pythagorean theorem and then just a little bit of trig on those. So when you get your worksheet, these are going to be problems 1 through 6. They're going to be just like that. Okay? You're going to have no angles and two sides, and you're going to have to work those out. All right, now the other ones. Let me get a different color highlighter. We'll go with blue. Now, for the second one, you're going to subtract to find your other angle because we already know one angle, right? So if we know one of them, we have that A, B, and C. We know C is 90. We know B is 53. And we can just subtract. So we can go 180 minus 90 minus 53. And let's see what that's going to be. That's going to be 37 for A. So this guy's 37 degrees. Okay, so now we know all of our angles. And now we're going to use trig to find both sides. So here's how we're going to do that. Let me erase these little triangles here. Okay, so I would use the information that you're given. Okay, so use the information that you're given. That needs to go away. Let me change my pen color here. So that means don't use what you find, okay? Use the 53, use the 11, all right? And that's just in case you made a mistake. That way you're not using something you found. So compared to the 53, the 11 is the opposite. And if we want to find side A, that's this guy over here, right? That would be the adjacent to the 53. So opposite and adjacent would be tangent. So tangent of 53 would be 11 over A. And then remember, if your variable was on the bottom, this turned into a division problem where you took the 11 and divided by the tangent of 53. And if I go do that in my calculator, I'm just going to do it over here because it would be simpler than all the shenanigans I got over there. 11 divided by tangent of 53. Now, this is just a regular tangent, right? I don't have to use the inverse tangent because I know the value of the angle. So I'm literally putting this straight into my calculator and then hitting the equal sign. And I'm going to get 8.28. And so if you are answering to the nearest tenth, we're going to say that's about 8.3. And so we have sides A, B, and C. And we know B, little b, is given as 11. We just found A to be 8.3. And now I'm going to use trig also to find side C, which is going to be my hypotenuse. Okay, I'm still going to use the opposite being my 11. So let me change my pen color here. Now I'm going to go opposite and hypotenuse. Well, that's my sine. Sine of 53 is opposite over hypotenuse, which is my side C. So now we're going to divide again, right? Because the variable's on the bottom. So 11 divided by sine of 53. Let's go back up here, my calculator. And I get 13.77. So you guys would answer 13.8. And that's side C. And remember, that's your hypotenuse, right? Hypotenuse should always be the longest side of the triangle. So your goal here, you're given 3 pieces of information, you're finding 3 pieces of information for both of these, okay? So that's how those are going to work. Now, before you do anything, I want you to go and turn these notes in, okay? Notes on solving a triangle. Find those in Google Classroom, get those turned in. And then you're going to have a worksheet that also has to do with solving the triangle. All right? All right. Toodaloo.